this because it'll be crazy. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Hi, everybody. You've got one of my funnest friends here as a treat. This is Chelsea Laub, and we are set up as in a different spot today because it's in real life, IRL. And Kaylee she can't find the live. Sorry, Kaylee. Good luck. I'll send it to you later. So what we're going to talk about today is, I almost called you Kaylee because she just texted me.
We need to take a deep breath.
Yes,
I think.
we do. Sorry, Neville's like pushing at the door. Neville's a dog. And what we're going to do, this is fine. Okay. So we're going to talk about networking today because Chelsea has started a really cool, what do you call it, program?
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason that I wanted to bring Chelsea on is because she's like a fantastic networker. She's an expert on the Enneagram, and I think that everybody can benefit a lot from what she has to say. And I thought we would just have a really strong conversation about this kind of stuff. So if you are watching, let us know that you're watching live or watching this as a replay. Just put it in the comments. And if you give StreamYard access to see your name, we'll be able to actually see who it is. There is a bit of a lag, so you'll have to let us know. Or we'll see it and we'll actually call it out when we see it. Okay, cool. So Chelsea, do you want to introduce yourself and start talking about Mingle?
Sure. So hi, everybody. I'm super excited to be here. This is was such a fun way to start.
I know.
It takes all of the nerves out. So this is good.
Yeah.
So my background is actually in financial services. So I was a financial advisor for almost 10 years, and I built my business on my own in a community in Kansas City where I didn't really know anybody when I started. And so I had to learn how to network really quickly. Mm-hmm. And it was this whole, I really honestly had like all of the odds were against me in being successful because I was 25, not from Kansas City. Mm. Everyone in my family, everyone that I knew already had a financial advisor. So like I didn't have any natural market. And so anyway, over the years, I built my market, built my network, and I did so like really, really quickly and efficiently. And
you did.
Well, it kind of, I think some people just are natural at networking and some people aren't.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we can't all learn how to do it because so many of the skills, I was actually raised learning some of these skills and kind of took them for granted. And so I got to a point because I do Enneagram work, obviously, as you know. And so I work with people on emotional intelligence and leadership trainings. And I was working with my own executive coach, and he was talking to me one day about like the next thing in my business. And he's like, well, what else do you love to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if I could get paid to network, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, okay, talk to me about this. Like, let's talk about your process. And so we started talking through it, and we figured out that there's actually a process to networking, which I had never really thought about before. But, and so now I'm working with people, with individuals and groups, really talking to them about networking and the strategy behind it, the skills, like the practical skills, like how to butt into a conversation, where to stand in the room, how to do a follow-up, because 90% of people don't follow up after a networking event.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, and then how to add value. So much of what I found about why people are not confident in networking is because they're not confident about their own value.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
That's the number one thing I found by doing like market research and stuff in my group and other places about leaders. Like people share that they are not confident in their decision making and in themselves. Yeah. So that makes total, and it's surprising. I wouldn't have thought that would be something that'd be like the number one struggle. Yeah.
And that's the first step that I work with people on is really understanding what is your personal brand. Like, your personal brand, you have one. We all have one, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And if we're not actively managing it, then the community or the people around us are telling us who we are, rather than us actually knowing and being familiar with our value. But if we don't know what our value is, there's no way that we can be effective in selling or in offering services or offering value. We have to really know what value it is that we add and why we are uniquely positioned to help other people.
Yes.
Rather than letting them tell us how we can support them.
I love that. And I just saw your email that you sent out today had like, was it the steps of networking?
Oh gosh, I don't remember what I did. I scheduled them out.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, I can pull it up, but the computer's being occupied. Actually, wait, hold on, everybody. I think I can pull it up. I just had it. Oh, Chelsea, here you are.
No-nos.
Oh, the no-nos. Okay, Chelsea, do you want to read us or talk to us about these networking no-nos? Because that would make you too naughty.
Tisk. Okay, so the first thing that people often do, and the first thing in this email is leading with a sales pitch. And so I see this happen actually a lot. And often it's really unintentional because we're going in and we're going into a networking event with our own lens on, with our own lens of like, I need to find a client. And so we're going in looking for a client rather than looking for a connection or a relationship. And so what so many people do is they go in leading with a sales pitch. So a quick story to back this up.
Yeah.
When I first started my financial planning business, I went to a speed networking event.
Okay.
And I didn't know it at the time, but I was like the 4th financial advisor in a row of advisors, like the 4th one. And so by the time, speed networking, you kind of, it's like speed dating, you move quickly across. And so by the time people had gotten to me, they'd already talked to 3 other people that did what I do.
Yeah.
And so I caught on pretty quickly and I was like, oh, I'm a financial advisor. I do what they do. I just do it better. I like made a joke about it. And then I just moved on. Yeah. And I talked tell me about yourself. And I talked to people that way. I got more clients from that networking event than any other event I've ever been to.
Wow. And you were the 4th person in a row who did the same thing.
But what was interesting about it is that I didn't go in with a sales pitch. And what I had heard afterwards was that it was such a stark contrast in how we presented ourselves. And so what I found is that the 3 advisors that were ahead of me, they were actually leading with product and trying to solve a problem that they didn't even know existed yet. Rather than actually trying to create a relationship and finding a way to find some similarities and offer value that way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Chelsea and I met through the networking group that she had started. I think I went with somebody and we just happened to meet. And then I hired you as my financial advisor. Yeah. And now she doesn't do that anymore. And I work with some dude. We finally did talk. I think like last week I called him. I was like, hey, I'm buying a house. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So yeah. What's his name?
Colton.
Yeah. I was right.
And Colton's amazing. Yeah. He's a really, really great advisor.
Oh, good. Okay. I haven't seen his face yet.
I know.
So just phone calls and emails, but he's great so far. So, but I loved working with you and of course, like, why would I not want to work with like a woman around my age, similar personality type? I love that, like, she understands, like my Enneagram type, my Myers-Briggs, predictive index, things like that. And so like the fact that I'm not a major like saver, you understood and you're like, okay, well, like, let's make other goals and what are your fears or what are things like that. So it really vibed with me. And that's what made me feel that connection. So that a lot of other people did too. So leading with the sales pitch, not good.
No, not good.
No, bad. Don't do that.
The second networking no-no is poor listening skills. And I'm constantly working on this myself because I get so excited.
Same.
I think you're the same way. I get so excited that I want to add in or I want to add value or I want to like share a story or share something. And then I stop listening because I'm waiting for my turn. Right. And it's a constant struggle. But if we've all been in situations where we were not listened to, right?
Totally.
Where you're talking to someone who's like a wall or they're just listening to respond. Yeah. And it's the fastest way really to turn people away from you.
Totally. That's the person that you see again at another networking event and you avoid them. Yeah. Because all they did was make everything about themselves. I had a leader like that in the last place I worked. People have heard me talk about this and they had no self-awareness, which is, a major component of emotional intelligence, would interrupt any like circle of people talking and just immediately make everything about herself. And it would be like, we're not even talking about that. Like you just interrupted all of us. You could tell that like at networking events with donors and other people in the community, people would cringe as she walked up because everybody had that same experience with her. And I guess no one had ever really like given her that feedback. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's not safe to give people feedback.
Yeah. Especially if you don't ask for consent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a few people. Look, Isaac is here. Anita. Oh, hello. You're buying a house. Oh yeah, I am. It's shocking. I know.
It's so exciting.
She advised me. Well, a while ago. Got advised. And hi, Isaac. He was on our live a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So sorry. Let me keep listening to you. I work on my poor listening skills. I just wanted to check because we're on different screens. There's a lot of screens going on. It's 2023,
I love it. But with the listening skills, some of the things that you can do to actively be engaged or, really paying attention to your body language. I think sometimes we just kind of do what we do and we're not really checking in with what our body's doing.
Yes.
And so, are your eyes darting across the room? I catch myself doing this all the time. If I'm in like a really busy coffee shop and I see people walking by, I find myself being distracted and not listening. And so it's really, really reminding yourself to be present. I don't wear my Apple Watch very often because it buzzes and then I'm like looing and I'm not super present.
Oh yeah, I put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, which is so good. And I always forget to do that.
Oh yeah.
Which doesn't really help me. Or I'll be in the middle of a meeting. I'm like, oh, I should be listening to you. Let me turn this off.
Yeah.
And so, things like that and checking your posture, being engaged, actively engaged in listening.
True.
Yes. But then also I think part of that too is letting, and this is kind of the third thing, which is being overly self-promotional. This is the third thing that I think people do. Again, when you walk into a networking event with no sort of preparation in advance, or you go in through your own focus, your own lens, people go in just trying to talk about themselves.
Oh yeah.
And there's an art to finding the right amount to talk about yourself, because sometimes I say people choose one of the extremes. They either only talk about themselves or they only talk about other people. And then other people aren't sure how you can help them, or people are like overwhelmed with how much you talk about yourself and they don't listen to anything that you're saying because you're just going on. And so really what we need to do is find that middle ground where we can actively listen and add value when it's appropriate.
Totally.
But when we go in and we're like, oh, I do networking coaching and I help people open new markets and I do this. And Haley, what are the problems in your business and how can I help you find more clients? The first time I meet you, it's such a turn off.
Oh, totally.
Even if your intentions are really great, it's just not good.
Yeah. And I mean, we can also acknowledge that, especially as starting businesses, like, I mean, I think my business has been around 5 years now. And like this iteration of what you're doing is pretty new. Right. And so I remember when I first like started out, there is that kind of sense, Neville, you are going to be fine. Sorry, it's the puppy, of like desperation, like, especially if you don't have any other like income stream, if you're not married, if you don't have like a daddy bankroll in your life or something, you know, like, I mean, I had nothing else besides my own income. And I know that I seemed desperate and I probably did come off that way because I mean, you have to make money. And so I get that, but I did read it. Maybe you probably told me to read this, or I know Katie Carr did, if you're listening, the Jeb Blunt book, Fanatical Prospecting.
Oh, you told me about this book.
Yeah, it's so good. If people haven't read it and you are in sales or any sort of like fundraising, maybe things like that, he talks about how like people can smell that desperation. And when when you're being overly self-promotional or promoting your brand or whatever it is, people can tell, and it's just really icky. So the less like desperate you come off, or intense in like a weird way, people are going to like you a lot better. Right?
Yeah. Well, and it makes your conversation so much more authentic when you aren't having to force a sale. And so it's really hard. And a lot of it goes back to what we talked about initially today with trusting yourself and knowing the value that you add. If you can trust in what you have to offer, and if you can trust that you do have the skills to be successful, you're not going to be as desperate for the sale. Or for the connection, because you already know you're going to get it, because you can trust your value. And that's really hard to remind yourself. And I would say I'm a person who overall trusts my value and who has a fairly confident, alignment with my personal brand. And that's not always true every day. You know, there are days I wake up and I'm like, what am I even doing? You know, and those are the days that I probably shouldn't be networking.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Like,
truly
read your own vibe each day. Absolutely. To like know, like, and if you don't have a meeting that day, then like, maybe it is a day that you work on your business, or you start prospecting virtually or something that day. Oh, we have 7 people watching. Oh my gosh. Hi everybody. Oh my God. Is it like all of America? This is the most I think I've ever seen on here. No, not, I mean, during like launch it's been a little different, but yeah. Hello, 7 people. Tell us you're here so we can say hi. Yeah, maybe it's, and I don't know if anybody's watching on Insta, but we are live on both. So, you know.
And this is like the authentic side.
Oh yeah. This is authentic as it gets. We just flew this. We were eating lunch and we were like, oops, we better get started.
2 Enneagram 7s.
Yes. Well, do you want to talk about Enneagram a little bit? Because I don't think everybody on here is going to know what that is. So when we say 7, like, can you talk about our personality type and what it means?
Yeah. So the Enneagram, if you haven't heard of it before, is a personality typing tool. So it's an assessment like Myers-Briggs, StrengthsFinder, DISC, all of those other amazing tools, predictive index, all those other amazing tools. The Enneagram is different in that it tells us why we do what we do. So it helps us identify our core motivations rather than just the behaviors that we choose or that we don't choose but do. And so anyway, so there's 9 different types and they're all driven by a different motivation. And so Haley and I both are 7s. And 7s are what we call the enthusiastic visionary. And we are people who are big picture, 30,000 foot view kinds of people. We talk fast, we move fast, we think fast.
We laugh a lot.
We laugh a lot. We don't take life too seriously. Very casual overall, which on the positive side can mean that we are very approachable and fun and have a lot of new ideas and are very innovative. And on the not so positive side of that, it can mean that sometimes we're not taken seriously because we are more lighthearted and maybe might avoid some of those lower vibration things going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes we lose people. because we move so fast, we talk so fast, and sometimes follow through can be really
A
hard.
lack of a filter, you know,
Yeah, lack
things
of a
like
filter.
that. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
So sorry if I drop any F-bombs during today's call.
Nobody gives a fuck if you do that. Just kidding. So yeah, not everybody's going to have that personality type, but so she uses that within Mingle, the networking group that she's doing, and within coaching and other things. So I think it's really important because I mean, obviously I do that in my work too, and it's so eye-opening when people realize what personality type they have, or what their drives are, because and especially like what the drives of the people around them are, because it's so great, yes, for self-awareness, but really the whole picture of like understanding you and all of your team or people you're networking with and your prospects and things like that. And so like, that's kind of the good thing about like what we do is like we can get to know people quickly because we can have them take those assessments. And so how did you get into Enneagram? Where'd you learn about it?
Well, real quick, I just had a thought too. So sevens are natural networkers. Typically, sevens are really social people. And so it's really easy typically for sevens to network. That doesn't mean that other types can't be good networkers.
Exactly.
And so that's where someone like me or like you even comes in and can help with those leadership skills and those, that ability to kind of find the thread that goes through and find opportunities and identify things like that. So that's the one side of it. But I found the Enneagram actually through my husband's therapist like years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. They were using it.
Yeah. Yep. So she had suggested it, and anytime I have the opportunity to learn more about myself or learn more about other people, I'm so interested. As a seven, I have a lot of different interests, but this is one that's kind of been the thread through my entire life, is I've always been interested in learning more about myself. So I found it through his therapist, and the first time I read my profile, I was like, oh my God.
It's like looking into your soul.
Yeah. It gave me language though that I had never thought of.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that everybody was a little bit like me. And then I was reading it and I was like, oh shit, this is a little too on the nose. It opened up a lot. I mean, it was a little uncomfortable to read, but it was so impactful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Isaac's a 3.
Yeah. Isaac's a 3. So do you want to talk about what the 3 is?
Yeah. So 3s are the competitive achievers. These are people who they're motivated by being the best and achieving the highest possible achievements. And so whatever it is that they're doing. So sometimes it looks like being the best at their job and like being really strategic and efficient and effective in their job. And for some people, it's being like the best mom or the best board member, or the best friend. Yeah. So it can look a lot different. A lot of times though, these people are very aligned in the corporate space.
Well, that explains Isaac and all of his companies.
Entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. Likes to win. So 7s and 3s can get confused sometimes. Like they have certain things that like look alike, like both very driven. They're both assertive types.
Positive.
Yeah, usually very positive. But the difference would be like the core motivation, right? Of like a 3 being like wanting to achieve and a 7 wanting freedom. Yeah. And like, I want to win, but like, don't tell me what to do and how to do it. I need a break sometimes, or I want to go have fun and not just do things that are.
I don't really care if I'm winning as if it's not fun.
Oh, exactly.
I'll quit before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's terrible. It sounds terrible, but I mean, that's my instinct is to, if something is consistently not fun, even if I'm being successful at it, I'm out. Like,
Neville, he's just gonna push his way in. He is assertive. He might be an 8. Yeah, but a very sweet little 8. That's the challenger for anybody. Or what do you call it in your?
Yeah, the active controller.
Oh, the active controller. Good Lord. Oh,
yeah.
That can be. I love it though. That's funny. I think I was gonna say something before he so rudely, and my dog is staring at me like he's gonna.
Do you want to introduce him?
Neville, come here. Can you come in, or is it
gonna? Come here, Neville.
Hold on, Bubba.
See, this is what happens with 7s. It's very informal.
I shouldn't have shut the door. I shouldn't have done it. But
Neville, what do you think about networking?
Yeah. Oh, he's like, I love networking. I love to meet everybody. Neville, can you? There he is. Okay. For anybody a dog person? Okay, good. And he'll just. Okay, you can just co-lead with us. There you go. Settle.
Okay.
So So tell us more about Mingle, and if people are in Kansas City, because it's
Yeah.
all, is it virtual at all, or is it all
Yeah,
in
so I
person?
have clients actually, I have some
Settle.
in Des Moines, in Omaha, in California,
Oh,
in
wonderful.
Kansas City. So I have clients all over the place.
Nice.
But so I offer Mingle in two different ways. So one is individual coaching, which is really fun, one-on-one, where we get to really look at how you want to grow your business. And I'll help you identify your personal brand, build all of that up, and get really clear about the value it is that you add, and then help you strategically align yourself in the community to be the most successful in getting into those markets. And then the other way that I do it is working with people in groups. So like I'm working with a local bank right now on working with their lenders. And I just did a 5 week program for them where we talked about the different phases of networking.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so much fun, and the people got a lot of value out of it. And it's been fun to hear people sharing, like they're actually trying the things that I'm suggesting. Like one woman shared this morning, actually, that she had taken my advice on trying to find speaking engagements, ways to get in front of groups.
Oh, good.
And so she had accepted one that wasn't with her target market, and then posted about it on LinkedIn, which was also my suggestion.
Oh, nice.
And then someone else saw, and then they invited her in to speak to her target market.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us some more tips about that. Like what, like, not, I mean, I know we want people to pay you for,
this
for
is
your
good.
tips, but anything that you can tell people as some like starters.
Yeah. So one of the ways I think is one of the things I think is one of the best way to position yourself in your community is to really nail your ideal client. It's like know what they. Are you so distracted?
I'm trying to focus. Sorry,
okay, he's fine.
If I had Neville's little crate out, I would put him in it, but
it's fine.
He's good. He wants to be with everybody.
But it's to get really clear about who your target client is, and then go after that person and position yourself as an expert in their community.
Sorry, hi, buddy. I completely agree, and I want to like kind of talk about the importance of alignment in that way. So you're saying target market. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Neville, you are safe. You are loved. Okay. I recently was thinking about how my word of the year is alignment, and so I think it took me a few months to figure out like how I can, like, what does that look like? Do I really tell potential clients no if they're not aligned? Because that's hard. It's like you're literally turning down revenue if you do that. But I found that like the more I try to be clear on who my target audience is, and that's not even like industry, it's like type of team, it's type of leader who is it somebody who truly wants to make a change, or are they just throwing money at a culture problem and paying me to help with it, but not really like letting me do the work and actually consult with them. And so the more I've leaned into clients that are aligned and getting rid of things that aren't aligned, like I love coaching as a group, but I didn't love doing the group coaching program. I loved my clients. I didn't love like the process to get the clients. Like it just was not like aligned with what I like to do. Neville, you are not aligned right now. And so the more that I focus on like what does my audience want? What is aligned with what I like to do? It's not doing a 9-day live launch. Sorry, Kelly Roach, it's not, it's a lot more like, how do I connect with people in an authentic way? And that feels like good to me, where I'm not like dreading it or putting all this energy and time into something that isn't really showing results. So if people have questions, like I still see a few people on, let us know if you do have any questions. And Neville has a Hedwig toy from Harry Potter right now, so that's fun. Okay.
But though on that same token though, right? Like, so if you have to find what works for you. And I'm a big trial and error person. Like I love to try something and figure out if I liked it or not, and then try something new or do that thing again. And not everybody likes that. Not everybody functions that way.
Oh yeah.
And so, but with that, I've done a lot of things that didn't work for me, but I know might work for someone else. And so I can advise in that way and like really help people with that. But the thing I found across the board is once you do nail that target client, like you identify who they are.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. He's trying to chew on my heels.
Oh, no. Stop it.
But once you really like clarify who that ideal client is, then it's really easy and really fun to actually look at who that person needs.
Yeah.
So what does that person need in their business? What does that person do in their social life? What does that person need access to that you also can provide, whether it's through your business or not? And so it's really getting strategic about how you align yourself. But what works for every single person, you might need some coaching and some training on it, is to speak to groups of people.
Yeah.
So, whether it's in ways like this or going to associations and
Mhm.
networking groups and offering your content, offering continuing education
Yep.
credits, any way that you can position yourself as an expert with your ideal client, then now every time they might not need you right at the moment, but when they do need you, they're going to come find you.
Oh, yes. And you have to be patient because,
Yeah.
I have people coming to me now, that
Yep.
I talked to 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I have clients
Yeah.
that I still have now. I've been in 3 industries
Mhm.
in 11 years.
Wow.
Most of that time was spent in finance. But I have clients from my first year as a financial advisor 11 years ago who are also my client now.
Oh, that's so great.
In different
Yeah.
industries. I have one client that's literally been a client of mine in every single business that I've been in.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But that's the power of relationship building and of
Mhm.
offering value, because my value is not just in how to network.
No, yeah.
Right? My value is also in parenting and co-parenting, and also I have value in marketing, and I can also add
Sales
value
coaching.
in sales coaching,
Yeah.
all these different kinds of things, and leadership, because I have exposure there. And anything I can't do, which is a lot of things, I have people like you, and I have people like all these financial advisors in my network, and I have all of these people that can do other things that I can't do or that I'm not aligned for. And so and I say this all the time to people too. One of the best things you can do is share your network with people.
Oh yeah.
And that is literally how I built my network, is
Yeah.
by sharing and giving introductions and
Yes.
referrals to people who were aligned, who I felt were aligned. And I've watched people, like people in my network, make tons of money and grow their businesses and form partnerships and have new opportunities based on introductions that I made, and then just said,
And that's
go for
amazing.
It. That's the most fulfilling thing in the world.
Oh, totally.
It's so cool.
Yes, I love that. And it's kind of weird when people won't share and they keep their Rolodex, to use a metaphorically Rolodex term, too close to their collar, to their heart,
chest, their vest. Close to the chest.
I think it's close to the chest. Yeah.
I shouldn't be trusted in these situations.
No, I was trying to think of the blind leading the blind the other day, and then once we realized it, me and my friend, we were like, "Oh, that's definitely not a thing you should say anymore."
Oh yeah,
yeah. But it was what we were looking for. We were like, we really should change it to not be something that's like that. But yeah, I think that's awesome. I recently connected 2 people, and it's so cool. They don't need me, somebody was needing Neville Grayless. Stop it.
There's his middle name.
Oh, Paw Bottom.
Oh, that's right. If
anybody's a Harry Potter fan, instead of Long Bottom, he's Paw Bottom. That was my friend Chrissy who thought of that. But yeah, a client was looking for a DEI expert, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and yes, of course I can talk about that stuff, but I'd rather refer a person of color to that that prospect or that client. And so I connected them, and she took it from there. And this is Nicole Jacobs Sylvie.
Oh, I love Nicole. Yeah,
she's amazing. And so I connected them, and hopefully they're able to work something out, and it can be a really beneficial partnership between the two of them, the company and her. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I think it's really fulfilling and fun to do that.
Yeah. Well, and it's really cool too, because that's also helping someone else grow their business while providing deeper value from someone who really understands that side of the conversation more than you or I ever could.
Yeah, it's not really aligned for me. It's a value for sure, it's not my expertise.
Right. And so I think that there's so much power in knowing when you're not supposed to do it.
Yes, that's the alignment
and then referring it out to somebody else, because it helps them grow their business. It puts you in a position of support. You helped somebody else, you added value, and the client's getting something better than they would have from you or I in that capacity. Right.
Yeah.
And so so I think that there's so much value in that, and so much alignment in, or so much value in finding alignment in what you do. And I think, back to this idea of scarcity, when people are keeping their Rolodex close to themselves, or they're keeping their, what they're working on really close to themselves, there's this value, there's this idea of scarcity, and also a trust thing that comes up. But there's enough to go around. And so there's a book. Have you read Give and Take by Adam Grant?
No, I haven't.
So Give and Take is a really great book. Adam Grant obviously is amazing with organizational psychology and all those things. He's just, everything he does is gold. But Give and Take is a really great book, and so is The Go-Giver.
I did read that.
Yeah, yeah, which are two, it's talking about the same kind of approach in two just very different ways. But it's the whole approach of giving first before you're accepting something or expecting something back from someone else.
Yeah,
is so much more beneficial.
Yeah.
And in Give and Take, that's one of the things that Adam Grant talks about is, based on all of the studies and the research that he's done, is that they talk about how people who give without needing something in return actually make the most money and they have the best opportunities. If they don't have boundaries, they can also have the lowest.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people see is people who are givers, people will look at them and think that they're weak or that they're not successful.
Yeah.
But in reality, we just need to have boundaries to our giving. There's like what they call the 5-minute favor, where if something takes you 5 minutes or less, why wouldn't you do it for someone?
Oh, totally.
Like, why wouldn't you make it a quick introduction to somebody that's going to add value to 2 different people?
Yeah. And to follow through like that, like what you're saying. I mean, I think you said 90% of people don't follow up. 90% don't follow up.
Yeah.
So if you do, it will set you apart, right? And I mean, I usually have like a little stack of business cards from networking events, and it's like, I have to follow up on these. And of course, sometimes they get pushed to a drawer or something. I should probably look around and make sure I've like connected with everybody I'm supposed to, but went to like an annual conference for SHRM a couple weeks ago. And I already followed up with multiple people, and like, hopefully it'll be like multiple or mutually beneficial for everybody, for myself and my business, but also for everything that they're working on. So
well, and it sets you apart too with your, like, it helps you establish your reputation. Yeah. And so, so much of networking is really reputation management because people talk. Oh yeah. I mean, we're in the Midwest, so it might be like, oh, she's so lovely, or we might say like passive aggressive.
It's like that thing on TikTok was like, oh, she's fine, I love her, but she's a little crazy.
She's a little much. Or things like that. Like, we're like Midwest nice, but the things get around. Like when you do something wrong to someone else, or when you misbehave, or you present yourself in a way that's not aligned. We keep using that word, but when you present yourself in a way, people, that gets around, whether it's good or bad. Yeah. And so really like managing your reputation is so important. That's not to say that you can't make mistakes, but it's how you handle those is so important, especially when you're in a position where you need to connect in the community, or you want to connect in the community or build relationships. I mean, your reputation really is important in that. And so when you are someone who follows up, when you are someone who makes the connection, and I'm guilty of forgetting this all the time, or it's like 3 days later and I'm like, oh, the moment has passed. Now it's weird. Oh. And now I'm like, do I actually reach out? And so the call reluctance sets in. And then I have to beat that, and I have to like, get myself excited to follow up with people. But I think we can all relate to that in some way, where we get, the moment has passed and now we remember we're supposed to follow up, and then we still do it? I mean, yes.
I say, it's not too late, because you can always like, just a little, like a self-deprecating humor. Something, so there's, whacked by the tail. It's fine. Tail whacked. He just really loves to be near people. Okay, settle. Crazy. And with that, we're over 30 minutes. So any way that you want people to get a hold of you, or follow you on social and things like that, you can share your, the next steps, or if people want to follow you and stuff.
For sure. So best way to follow to keep up with me is honestly on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is where I spend most of my time professionally. So just Chelsea Laub on LinkedIn, and then
Laub.
Yes, Laub. And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well, but that's more of my personal stuff, and I blend it all in. So if you want the whole package, Facebook and Instagram is great. If you just want business, find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. If you're watching this as a replay, let us know, and Chelsea'd be happy to answer any questions if you tag her in the comments. All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye again.
We're still on.